What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Show Boys podcast. I'm your host, Pixel Nick, and tonight I am joined with some very special guests. Actually, just one special guest. The other two, they're always here, and we'll talk about them later. But Casey, how you doing tonight?
Hi, all. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of
It's
course.
a
Thank you for
pleasure to
being
be
here.
back. I mean, this is wonderful. I always love hanging out with you guys and being able to talk about Star Wars, all things Star Wars.
Oh yeah, we love it. And I think the last time you were here, actually, I missed. Unfortunately, you guys were talking about something. Was it Obi-Wan? Andor? Yeah, I was such a loser for missing that.
It was such a great
time out. Don't be so hard on yourself, all right?
Oh, okay. It wasn't that good of an episode. I got it. It was like you and Tim, but I guess you're stuck with Mike.
Hey.
Oh, Mike's here.
I couldn't tell that was Mike from his cheek.
Mike, can you
guys see me?
No,
we can see part of you.
Take your two fingers and pinch the screen.
Oh,
there we go.
Nice.
There
he is. Hey.
Unenhance, zoom out.
Zoom out.
Yeah. So I'm here. Yeah. A little bit of a struggle to get here, though.
Tell us about your situation here. What's going
on? Please do.
So up here in Northeast Ohio, we had some pretty gnarly thunderstorms roll in last night. And pretty much like our house almost got struck by lightning. It hit like really close to our house and sent a surge of energy through our house and blew a ton of stuff, a lot of breakers, et cetera, fried my modem, so I don't have internet, so I'm currently tuning in from my phone here. Also don't have air conditioning, so I'm tuning in from my phone very sweatily.
And you're wearing a hoodie.
And I have a hood on.
I thought it was just your camera, but you are definitely glistening.
Yeah. Hey, we were talking the Blair Witch like thing, and I started to channel that energy, and I just got like all damp.
I feel that. I was trying to be cool and wear this, like hoodie effect and have the robe thing, but it is aggressively hot.
Yeah.
It looked warm. It looks like it's cool.
I'm so excited that you're here with us, though, Casey, because one, it's been a while, and two, it's always a great time to chat, or it's always a fun time to chat Star Wars with you. Like Nick said, last time you were on, you came and talked Andor with us with the wonderful Tim from Funny Sci-Fi, and that was just an amazing episode. I just got to sit here like with my legs crossed and listen to the two Star Wars experts just school me on everything I needed to know about Andor, and it was amazing. So looking forward to having that happen again tonight with Ahsoka. Yes. And Nick's here, our resident Star Wars expert, so it's gonna be a great time. Dad's here producing aggressively mediocre-ish.
Dad, what you got going on there? Nice shawl.
So I thought it would be a good idea to try to look the Jedi part.
Mm-hmm.
So I grabbed this blanket, right? So turns out I just look like an old lady with a
not
blanket
at all.
on.
You're obviously Master Babushka.
Yep.
It worked out perfect.
I'll take it. But it is really freaking hot down here, so I'm not gonna wear it. I'll just remove my hood.
I mean, you look like you're from The Chosen. Like you're just like an early hype man for Jesus, really. That's what you're kind of vibing there. The old lady that's like, that young man's got it going on.
We believe in him.
Hey, I remember that scene actually. Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, they thought to include that because it happened.
There's something about that guy.
Grannies never change, It's like the Bluey Granny episode. Like that just all grannies. But yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Now that we got everyone situated, we will be talking about the double episode premiere of Ahsoka this evening. But first, we do have to shout out our top tier patrons, Yusuf H, Joe C, and Tim B. Y'all are great. And all our other patrons, you guys are also fantastic. If you do want to become a patron, definitely head over to patreon.com/showboyspodcast and check out what we have going on there. You can also find everything else that's going on at showboysmedia.com. And that's all the business. And we're giving away this thing someday.
You still have that?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, the Switch 3 might come out before we end up giving that away.
Seems just more fun to perpetually show it off. Like it's going to happen one day.
It's actually just an empty box.
At this point, yes.
You're not supposed to tell them.
Oh,
Nick,
well, sorry.
come on.
You can win this OLED Switch
Definitely
box.
full box.
Definitely
Switch.
a mystery box.
There's definitely something in there.
You throw it and it just floats down. See?
And I keep,
But now I think out of like principle, we just should never give it away and always, tease it. We do have
wants
Funko
the
Pop.
Superman pop.
Yeah,
Mike's moving, so all the swag and giveaway stuff is now at my house, so I just get to show off
Nick is
random
the king
objects.
of giveaways.
Lots
We
of
do.
giveaways.
I got a pretty that Superman pop is really cool because it's like
It's nice.
he's like decked out in some like Asian warrior garb. Am I talking about the right one?
Yeah. He's got some pauldrons, and he has kind of like the waistband with the cloth down the middle.
Yeah,
He has pants on
loincloth.
though. Yeah. He's got like the armor leg padding. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Nothing
pop.
like a solid bum flap. That's always an
Yeah.
armor.
Gotta have it.
Flap.
Superman upgraded from the traditional red Speedo to the more warrior-like loincloth. It's very nice.
Strong.
That's what's up.
There you go.
But I mean, hey, there's a new DCU, in the works, right? Blue Beetle just came out, last weekend?
Yep.
Last week.
They've got like the Forbidden Palace back on the back. I don't know what that is, but it is definitely some sort of Asian architecture. So
got that though in the pipeline to give away when Superman Legacy comes out. Jeff, you saw Blue Beetle. How do you were kind of raving about it in our text chain.
I really enjoyed it. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel good about this direction they're going. Like I kind of have a little bit more faith in Mr. Gunn.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure at first.
this
it's
happens
kind of
once every other year. People get more faith in DC.
Sure.
And then
It's
the
still
next year
WB, man.
comes and it
Still
all
Warner
just goes
Brothers.
down the drain.
Yep.
I agree with Casey. And the thing is, like, I don't know how much stock to put into the Gunverse because Blue Beetle was already in production, pretty much made when he kind of took the reins. So
I did not know that.
while it's like still slated as part of his DCU, like he couldn't have been very hands-on with it, at least not until like the back end. So I don't know. I'm glad that a DC movie is being liked because I love DC. So please continue to like these movies.
Right.
Let them make money at the box office, please.
Right. Yeah. But yeah,
Please
Casey,
be
have you seen Blue Beetle or even The Flash? Did you watch it either?
Okay, so I've seen The Flash, which was a complete letdown because I struggle with Ezra Miller. But I struggled with him back in Justice League. Just the way he portrays Barry Allen is not my favorite.
Same.
So, I mean, I get it. It worked out great, and it was a fine movie. I think all of the cameos are what made it. Really is what really pushed it forward. And Blue Beetle I've not seen yet, but I am excited to see it. I do like the lead actor. He's great in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So, and I've heard nothing but good stuff. So I'm excited to check it out. I just don't have faith in Warner Brothers for much of anything.
Yeah.
Same.
Womp.
Womp womp.
I feel you. Did you see the Rebel Moon trailer that came out during the Gamescom this week?
No, have not yet.
Have Nick, Dad? No? Okay.
No.
So
You kept
Zack
this to
Snyder's-
yourself, apparently.
No, sir. You remember a little podcast series we used to do called the Newscast?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I talked
What-
about Rebel
what?
Moon extensively during
Yeah,
the
then.
Newscast.
But like this
Um,
past week, you're talking about like a trailer that you're about to tell me is like awesome.
I think it was yesterday during Gamescom, or the day before, whatever the like opening ceremony thing for Gamescom was. They're like Jeff Keighley, the famous video game awards guy that nobody knows why he's famous in the face of video games, but he is. So he's hosting Gamescom like he always does. He's like, yes, Zack Snyder's here. He's going to show us the trailer for Rebel Moon. And we're like, okay, cool. I was excited because I love Zack Snyder, and I've been really excited for this Netflix movie. He comes up. They show the trailer, and it looks amazing. It's like Zack Snyder Star Wars, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's like really, really, really cool looking. But then he's like, "Oh yeah, we're kind of making a game too that goes in this universe." And I was like, "All right, cool. I can get behind that." But yeah, the talk of lack of faith in Warner Brothers made me think of Zack Snyder, and then I was like, Rebel Moon. You guys need to watch the trailer if you haven't. It's amazing.
I will. I mean, I'm a fan of Zack Snyder as well. Was a huge fan of 300. I think he does a great job. I like what he puts on film. I don't necessarily like when he messes with and tangles with characters I love, and we wind up with Batfleck. It's a long story, but I am excited to see this because sci-fi.
Yeah.
And wasn't that originally? Didn't he try to pitch that to be a Star Wars movie?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they
See,
said no.
it all ties in, guys. We're coming back around to the main topic here tonight, which is
12
you can't
minutes
say
later,
Rebel.
we're in.
You can't say Rebel. I almost feel like he should get sued for making Rebel Moon because I feel like that Star Wars is buried in like the resonance of those two words.
Oh well, yeah.
Can't use moon.
Nope. That's the Death
What?
Star.
That's no moon.
That's no
That's
moon.
not.
Like,
That's no
trademark phrase. Just like I know, like I love you, I know. Like no one else can say I know without
any movie. If anyone says I know, all of a sudden lawyers from Disney are coming out.
Wasn't it LeBron that was trying to get something ridiculous trademarked for himself? I forget.
I think it was revolving around like Taco Tuesdays or something.
Yeah, it was like something along those lines. It was something very universal. It's just like what?
No,
I mean, there was that time what Paris Hilton back in the day was trying to get "That's hot" trademarked.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
how can no?
I need to get my catchphrase trademarked already. Dang it!
You
hate to see it.
I hate to see it.
Hate to see it.
And music.
Yeah, it should be loaded up. Come on, producer.
Come
on.
He snapped his finger like someone else was gonna.
I actually have to to do it.
See, he's earning that title, guys. Earning the title.
You hate to see it. You hate
There
to
it
see
is.
it. You hate to see it.
Yeah. Well,
There
just
it
soak it
is.
in because I love it. Still to this day, my favorite thing I ever found on YouTube. So let's get into Ahsoka though, because that's what we're here to talk about.
Indeed.
For sure.
We had a 2-episode premiere. They switched the days on us like last minute. Supposed to be Wednesday. They're like, "Psych! It's up. It's Tuesday, guys. You can watch it, and we're gonna be releasing
Tuesday.
on Tuesdays now." So I guess first off, like, how do you guys feel about? Does the change of day matter to you guys? Like, it doesn't really matter to me, but
No.
I like Tuesdays. Tuesdays are nice. But I don't know if it was real or if it was people joking, but it was supposed to be because of like Tano Tuesday, but I never saw that hashtag like take off. So I don't know if that's why they moved
probably
it up a
because
day.
LeBron James got pissed and he's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Oh,
one
Too
letter
close.
off.
yeah.
I mean, Tuesday's a fine day of the week. If I have to pick one, Tuesday's a good day because it means I get a little bit of greatness with Ahsoka right before I wind up with a Wednesday, which is, tough.
It makes
Yeah.
the end of like if you had a bad Monday, it makes like you're like, oh, tomorrow's Tuesday, I can watch Ahsoka. So I think that's like how it landed with me because then it's like, oh man, it's only Tuesday and I gotta wait till Wednesday. No, Tuesdays are good. Tuesdays are good. I don't know if that's
you really stretched that segment out like a lot further than I thought we were gonna go there.
Mando owns Wednesday. Let's leave Wednesday
That
to
was-
Mando. Let's get Ahsoka what she deserves, and that's her own day.
She deserves her own day. Yeah.
But that's what I'm wondering. Is that for all the releases or just this? Like, is it completely unexplained why they did that, Mike? Do you know?
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's
Because
crazy.
Bob Iger is freaking out because Disney's losing subscribers.
Whoops.
We'll give them to it a day early. That'll make them stay.
Hey,
He's like, oh, they have to
So-
wait too long for content. We need to give it to them sooner. Tuesday, go.
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 That board meeting, everyone's like, yeah.
Deploy the nano mouse drones. Go.
So it looks like it's going to be every Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, for Ahsoka. But
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, because I think back in the ages ago when Disney Plus first released, it was like Thursdays or Fridays. Like they've been slowly bumping it up the week. Because I remember the Wednesday was the big change. We're like, what are we doing? But
now
Anytime they do a
they're not
price
even gonna
increase.
they're not even gonna send their stuff to post. They're just gonna like film it and be like, it's on Disney Plus, guys.
straight from the surround.
And it's Monday. Well, it's funny because like shows back in the day, like if you went to Friday, that was like where shows went to die.
Firefly, man.
Yeah.
Basically,
Well,
Fox in the 2000s.
Who's gonna be like,
killed
oh
everything
yeah,
else.
it's a nice Friday. I'm
Let's
gonna go
watch a
spend my
show."
Friday watching a show.
Mhm.
I mean, HBO did it right. They're like, we're going to get people hype on Sunday night. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to bed. You're not going to have a productive day at work tomorrow. You're going to watch this show
You're
and
gonna
then
be
go to work
wrecked.
and talk about it for the first 4 hours.
Yep.
And that's
And
how
don't
we roll.
forget about the after show. I mean, they're
Yep.
keeping you around, man.
Yeah, they're not messing around. But yeah.
So who did the after show first? Because I remember I came on to the post shows during The Walking Dead for Talking Dead, but did
Same.
Game of Thrones do that first, or was Talking Dead kind of like the pioneer of the post show?
So Talking Dead was really the push for the post show. That was when the post show took off and really got legs and became a big thing because everyone enjoys talking about their favorite shows. So that became sort of the deal. But HBO was always famous for that extra 5-minute segment, 6-minute segment of, making of, where you get the background of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Talking Dead was really what set the bar, I think, for what we know now is every single after show talk show.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Talking Dead. Chris Hardwick.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good time.
What a guy. Yeah. All right. So we got 2 episodes. It was nearly an hour and a half worth of Ahsoka content. You gotta be cautious with these Disney Plus run times because really they contain like 9 minutes of credits.
Well,
Right?
Well,
You have to know the secret formula to like calculate the actual airtime of the show.
Funny you
So-
say that because the articles I've been seeing is some of them said like the credit start mark, so you could see when it starts. So then because this article, they're really quick to the jump. Like this was 2 days before they released. They're like, yet again they're falling into this trap. Like episode 3 is going to be like 32 minutes long or 38 minutes long. So each episode has significantly degraded in length. Obviously maybe not content, but lengthwise, like 3 is already in the 30-minute zone, and that's where people are we have those like handful of Mando episodes where they're like sub 30 and people are like, what is happening?
Right.
But then again, well, we've talked about this, Mike, you bring this up all the time, like it's if it doesn't need to be an hour or like it doesn't need to be that long to tell that episode, don't finish it, I guess. But
Just make that 26 minutes like packed full of amazing story. Problem is they haven't really been doing that. So, what'd you guys think of episode 1? We'll start with Casey since he's our guest here. What'd you think of episode 1?
So I thought this was the greatest follow-up to Rebels I've ever seen. I think this was exactly what I wanted, which is a live-action Rebels. We managed to have Dave Filoni basically step in after everything that happened with the newest trilogy and say, hold my beer, I got this. Just everyone calm down. I'm going to give us Mandalorian. I'm going to, basically revive all these fantastic characters from this wonderful show in Clone Wars he created. And then he follows up by having Ahsoka and Mando, which also has characters put in there with like Bo-Katan Kryze. So we get more of the Rebels love. The legitimacy he gives to all of these characters was fantastic. I mean, we get Clancy Brown, first of all, who is one of my all-time favorite actors. So every time I see him on screen, I'm like, yes, this is exciting. So him as Ryder Azadi was dope because he's repeating that same character he was. We get Ray Stevenson opening up as a dark Jedi. A dark Jedi, man. How cool is that? He's not a Sith Lord. He's a dark Jedi. This guy's a different level of bad.
Dude.
Time out. You gotta explain this already. We need to have a lesson. What is this?
Mike's new here. He's very good at Rebels. Loves Rebels.
He doesn't know what Star Wars is.
But he doesn't know what Star Wars is.
So basically what we're getting here is that you have your Sith, which are actually, they come up through the ranks. They have an entirely different school, an entirely different set of sensibilities. The Sith are the bad guys, born of Korriban, who then were a wiped out species, who then still continued with all dark force users to basically carry on this dark line. And back in the days of Marco Ragnos, there are rules set up, so it becomes a whole different order that is to oppose the Jedi. So what a dark Jedi is, especially in this character that we get to know him as, why am I forgetting it? Balin Skull. So Balin Skull is actually a Jedi at the time of the great Jedi murder. So during this time frame, Balin Skull was a Jedi Knight who actually knew Anakin. And as all of his fellow Jedi are being murdered, he bailed. He just said, fine, I'm out. Deuces. So he took off and, finds this stray and essentially gets a Padawan, but he becomes a mercenary to survive. So he turns his back on what the Jedi Order is itself and decides to just go full dark, meaning he'll embrace the dark side, but not actually be a Sith Lord. The Sith Lord is more like a title attained. So it's actually, you have to continue to follow down the path. Whereas he was already a Jedi, so he just turned and became a dark Jedi. So that's the main difference there. And his Padawan that he takes, by the way, this actress did such a great job. She was terrifying. I don't know about you all, but she had some crazy eyes that just freaked me out. She at one point she starts looking towards the camera, and I was like, "Don't look at me! She's looking into my soul.
She's coming for you next.
Don't break that fourth wall. Stay in there,
Yeah.
Please. The box is the
she
box.
definitely had that unhinged vibe about her. That's for sure.
Yeah, and she played it so well.
Yeah, and Mike, this goes back to like our discussion about Sabine over chats throughout the week. It's more of like the order for which like the school of learning, less so much anything to do with like the Force or anything like that. It's more so like a school of learning, whether you're like Sith or Jedi. So like they're very much Jedi. Like he's a Jedi true and true. That kind of he's a bad Jedi. Oh.
And he left.
That's okay. But about her, what's her name? She's really cool.
Shin Hati.
Shin. She I really liked her. This is an episode 2. Her skepticism of Elspeth, right? Because like Balin. Is it Balin?
Mm-hmm.
Balin.
Okay. I want to say Baelor because I think of like Game of Thrones and the set.
I kept doing that too. Yep.
But Balin, so like he gets it. He's a mercenary. He kind of knows like her MO, and like his Padawan's just like, I don't trust her. I don't like her, and she does it. She played it very well, and I think that was important not to just have this apprentice that was kind of like hollow. She like she has some depth and character there where she's like, are we like, is this gonna work out? Like I kind of feel like this is where we like die at the end of this story. And I thought that was really cool that they gave her that to her character.
It was nice that they gave her that depth of the confidence that she has in that relationship. So you feel that Padawan master relationship the way that Jedi would have carried it on. And it's from the stories that we've already taken. So it's great to have that.
And now thinking about that, actually, and something the way you framed that is Filoni draws. I love Filoni because he draws so much inspiration from the prequels, right? Mm-hmm. And there's so much value to have from the prequels, and I'm glad they're finally getting their light of day. And again, with this relationship, welcome back, Michael. It's great because she kind of really has that Obi-Wan to Qui-Gon relationship. That's really what they established in those first 2 episodes is like, this is and they even had like a similar scene showing up on the ship. And instead of, peacefully getting out of there, they scuttled the whole thing. So I just thought that after you saying that's a strong parallel to the prequel.
And especially because you're getting that where the Jedi in the prequels are fighting droids, and these, dark Jedi are just wiping out humans, just walking through the whole ship, which was such an awesome scene too. Always awesome and really nice that they show the power that a Jedi or a Sith has against just your normal everyday person, and how they just get absolutely ripped to shreds. It's wild.
Yeah, and that's the other strength Filoni has, and that's the great thing about Filoni is he's really taken on the role of George Lucas. And I'll say this every time, and like he gets that. There's the people in the studio that know to like, I need to ask Filoni about this so we get it right, versus the people that probably don't do that, and like that's where like Star Wars tears off the rails. But Favreau, he knows. He's like, I'm gonna keep Filoni around all the time because this dude, he knows it. But where was I going with that?
I did want to actually, while you're recollecting on that other parallel that I think is done so fantastically in this show is the Ahsoka Sabine relationship, because we see Ahsoka clearly acting as Anakin did towards her. So she is just embodying that same master relationship that she had with Anakin. And to see that, it was really good. The way they put that together, and the fact that we got those parallels throughout. Like everything is a parallel, showing it all continues in that same cyclical universe. And it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, and I regather that thought. And what it is Filoni draws the appropriate inspiration and draws the appropriate parallels to other things that people like. So them like boarding that Calmarian cruiser, or New Republic cruiser, that also echoes, the cutscenes you would see from the Old Republic MMO, right? Yep. So like amazing cutscenes of just Sith in that case in the Old Republic, like just decimating like actual people, not droids, like people and like the good guys. So yeah, he's just really good at setting the right tone for things and doing obvious callbacks to things, but not in a copycat kind of way.
No, I mean, we get the Eye of Sion. Who knows about Darth Sion? Like, are you kidding me? It was fantastic that he brought Knights of the Old Republic in and gave us everything. And he's just opened up the entire universe we all love. And it's like, okay, let's play in this sandbox. Let's go. What you got?
And the crazy thing too is the stories he tells, you're like, he's been gearing up for this his entire, like, maybe since season 2 of Star Wars or of Clone Wars. So like season 1, I think he played it safe. We all know that from the way season 1 plays out. Right. But everything he's done for the past like 5 years, you're gonna be like, holy crap. Like, it's like he's been developing this in his mind since season 2 of Clone Wars. And it really shows.
Yeah, his love and respect for not only the Star Wars universe, but the characters that he's created is fantastic. It just comes right through. You feel it, and it makes you enthralled to know more.
And that's the thing about this show, like, I really enjoyed, and that, to your point, like, all these characters were great. Like, I don't think there was a character I didn't like. Even Baylan and Shin, whatever her name is, it just felt natural. Like, I felt like I was in it. Like, and it felt like I had a sense of nostalgia. Like, this is what it was supposed to feel like. This is what Star Wars is about. Like, this is it. Like, and I felt I didn't feel that way with Mando so much. But no, this was good. This was good.
I think a big part of that is the music. The music is constant, and it is constantly shifting with the scenes, right? There's not a lot of repetitiveness to it's not just like a score they made, like it all flows.
Yeah, and we are really sweet swipes. Yes, scene. You gotta
those swipes were great. They're iconic.
Gotta have the transitions. You even have like the swirl transition.
Gotta have them. Those are classic. So when I was gone, did you guys talk about where Baylan came from in terms of like the Star Wars canon? Is he like a Legends guy, come from a book? Like, where did Baylan arise from?
Clone Wars for like an episode, but not really. More like a story of, like, he's just someone who apparently knew a guy. It's just kind of like the guy, like if you walk down a hallway in the Jedi Temple and you're like, oh, that's Baylan. That's effectively what we have from Filoni's world. I think it's a comic book, actually.
It's the super bad equivalent of, you guys know a guy named Jimmy? Yeah. You look a lot like his cousin.
That's exactly what it is. That's who Baylan. That's the backstory of Baylan. Outside of that, he just, survived being wiped out and murdered and just became a mercenary.
But even still, like, with not much to go on, like, his character is totally believable, and he did a great job. Like, and you can kind of see that wrestle in his mind. Like, am I sure that this is right, what I'm doing?
Well, like he says in that conversation with Elsbeth, I forget if it's in episode 1 or 2, but where he's like, "Yeah, it'd be kind of sad to kill Ahsoka."
2.
Like,
yep. That's towards
he's
the
like,
end when they
what
were
do you mean? He's like, "Well, it's a Jedi.
Sentimental.
Like, there's not many of us left."
right.
Yeah, it was important to show that there. I thought that was really, I guess, bold, right? To have that his character say that, because that alludes to a lot of things, like even
Yeah.
Elsbeth like trusting him, but also when his apprentice asks him, when she's kind of like questioning him, like, what's going on here? Like, why are we doing this with crazy witch lady that I
Right.
already am very sus of because she's a witch.
Yeah.
Nobody
Backstory there
trusted
must be-
Dathomir Night Sister. Nobody trusts her.
can't trust him. But his answer is like, some people war, others a new beginning. Probably for us, like a
More
whole
power.
crap load of power, right?
Mhm.
And that's more like, obviously that's a very driving factor of the Sith, but then that's not like the main motive of the Sith. The Sith have always meant to, at least from a very long time, a rule of two, right? And to control the universe. They have like different motives there. They have very specific motives, let's say that. Whereas like he's just out for like raw power, and like he's just kind of out here getting it. He doesn't really he's not involved in like the politics of the Sith or the Jedi at this point. Very much whatever maybe doesn't monetarily pay for, give a big power, not
Yeah.
money, but power.
Just give me power. Yeah.
You can do a lot with power. And that's kind of really nice that it informs his character of what we're going to see from him. And his main driving factor is, he just wants more power. And after seeing Anakin Skywalker, rise to the level he did, that's what he's after now. So that would, be logical to create a sort of madman.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Mike, your video when you came back here is much more crisp. Like you're looking real good. Yeah.
Yeah, my phone just like overheated, and it was like, yeah, your phone can only do, when it's too hot, it will only do certain things. So I had to like unplug it from the charger, and eventually it cooled down enough to get the internet back. So, yeah. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, Nick. The time frame of where episode 1 starts, and we're thinking very shortly after the Ahsoka versus Elsbeth episode of Mando. If you remember all the way back, what was that, season 2 of Mandalorian? That one-off episode where Ahsoka makes her appearance. They have their little like samurai duel there, and Elsbeth's like cool little hideout.
Which is so rad, especially when you get Michael Baines showing down with Mando. Like, come on.
Yeah,
it's Johnny Ringo.
Good episode.
Yes. More Tombstone, please. Just everywhere. Greatest movie ever.
Favreau gets that kind of thing. He's like, dude, that's dope. He's like, we're making that happen.
Oh yeah.
And Filoni's like, approved. Make him like this, approved. And we're good.
Let's just get Johnny Ringo. Come on.
Yeah, I think it's cool though how Elsbeth is like a main driving factor here, at least in the start of Ahsoka, and kind of driving the story of trying to find Thrawn, and then that of course ties back to Rebels and Ezra, and where he is allegedly being like held. They aren't sure if he's alive or dead, but that's kind of. Sabine and Ahsoka are kind of on like the same mission, but they either are unaware that they're both kind of trying to accomplish the same goal, or just like, not wanting to work together because of their turmoil in their relationship or whatnot. But I liked how they kind of connected all that, because was Elsbeth a character in Clone Wars or Rebels? I don't recall.
No, but I don't recall her specifically, but they had a lot of Night Sisters. That was usually one of their big enemies. So it was always rad to see them pop up.
Right. Yeah. So I love like their ability to like tie all these characters and stories together and interweave all this stuff.
And I love the pacing of that, where basically we can just pick up from a random episode from another series. Like that's cool, right? And we're kind of, for all we know, very in parallel with like season 3 of Mando. We're probably before like season 3 of Mando, because we don't really see Ahsoka, right, in all of that after the fact that I can remember. But
he comes in has that little conversation with Luke, right?
Yeah.
But that's just about it.
But
Yeah.
so this supposedly is about 9 ABY, which is the same time as season 3.
Yep.
That's after the Battle of Yavin. So this is 9 to 10 years later. So so we've had a little distance between everything that's happened because Ezra was gone about what 3 was same day as after Battle of Yavin actually.
Day.
So
Same day.
Yeah.
It's like the dusting 5 years later. It's like 10 years later. They got dusted with space whales into another galaxy, apparently.
Space whales, man. Space whales are the best. I always love a big MacGuffin or something that comes out of nowhere and it's just so ridiculous. It's like, space whales. I'm in.
Space
Let's
whales.
go.
Checks out.
I love this show this much.
What do you guys think about the cool mural?
Oh, so important. To draw it right back, that's their characters from cartoon animations. Like, of course, a mural would look like that about them. Duh.
Yeah.
We even get what
the
Kanan, Wolf Kanan, which is great. Wolf Spirit Kanan is rad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that made my heart happy seeing that mural back there. I also love seeing Clancy Brown. I love that guy.
Dude, that was fun.
And I shouldn't say it, but I want to say it because I'm so excited. It probably won't get back to them, so whatever. Spoiler alert, I got the deets on Play Along Podcast next series, and I'm so excited because I've been trying to get them to play the game for like 2 years. They're finally playing Detroit Become Human, and Clancy Brown is an amazing character in that game.
Awesome.
Like, I've been talking about that game with a couple of the people from that podcast, and then he pops up in Ahsoka, and I was like, yes, I've been thinking about you. Thank you for popping up.
I mean, when do we not think about Clancy Brown? Come on.
Right. That's a great question. Bad job out of me for stopping thinking about Clancy Brown.
Shame, sir.
You know who else is in this or going to be in this? Our boy, huh?
Jared?
No, not Jared Harris. No, unfortunately, no. Our boy Amos. Our boy Amos.
Wes Chatham.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Captain Enoch.
Yeah, I screwed up and looked too far ahead. It was like, oh no. Why did I look? I shouldn't have looked. I want that to be a surprise.
Hey, thanks for spoiling that for me, Jeff.
I mean, I was looking at the cast and I'm like, wait, did I see him? No, I didn't see him.
Wow.
And it's funny too how they've limited. If you actually are unfortunately on IMDb, Jeff, as I have been as well, you'll notice that everyone else only has 1 or 2 episodes on them, except the 2 main characters and Captain Enoch. So we're gonna get a lot.
Nice.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Again, another show that just popped into my head today while I was working. I was like, man, you know what? I gotta get back into The Expanse. It's just time.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Can we just take like a 2-minute sidebar here?
Absolutely.
Getting back into things.
Timing.
I have been kicking around the idea of rewatching the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's been like over a decade since I've seen them. I finally watched the extended version of Fellowship, and it took me 4 nights because I'm old and like I get really tired at this time.
45 minutes at a time.
You can only start at 10.
But holy crap, dude. It was so fun. I was just laying on my couch, like giggling to myself, like, oh yes, I remember that. Oh, this is amazing.
You've never seen the extended, right?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Really
they make so much more. They make everything make so much more sense.
Yeah,
by far. And it's not just like trash extended. It's like
good.
It's
yeah. And like they still hold up. It looks great still. Oh man, it's so awesome.
They did such a good job with those, especially with each like character informing scene that they added to those extended cuts. And it's like, this is the brilliant show. This is what Peter Jackson wanted. That's actually what I do when I have heavy duty cleaning and laundry days. I just throw on one of the extended trilogy episodes and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. So after I get through the other 2, then maybe I'll finally restart The Expanse again. But anyways, back to Ahsoka. We did get some Rebels cameo. Sorry for the giant forehead shot there. We got some Rebels cameos. Some, what's up, Cricket? Well, I guess not really cameos, but character appearances that are going to be in the series for the long haul scenes. We got Tara Syndulla coming in, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. We had obviously Sabine that we've talked about already. I don't know who plays her. Sorry, forgive me. And of course, everyone's favorite droid Chop made his appearance, and I was so happy. I love Chop so much.
C1-1OP.
I love the part where he's like digging around for the tracking.
He's just like throwing stuff out of the dirt.
He's like, "Did you mess with my stuff?" She's like, "No, I didn't touch your stuff."
Yeah.
Good.
And we talked about this about the Bad Batch, right? So like the visuals and like the big shot movement looks correct in that show. It looks so correct in this show as well. That whole scene, right, where the hyperdrive core is taking off and there's lightsaber fight, like the scale is correct. You feel like you're in a shipyard. The backdrop behind Ahsoka when she's fighting, but then you have like Chopper and they're moving through like the atmosphere. Like they did such a good job.
I mean, it's so much fun. We're finally on Corellia. We finally got to Corellia.
And we've never been to Corellia. Well,
no, I guess
we're
Solo's on Corellia, but
it was dark.
Yeah, they get off pretty quick. Yeah, but it was dark. There's a lot of alleyways and sewer.
It was Empire days. It was very sad and depressing.
It's just
to your point, Nick. Like it felt huge. Like just about every scene. Like the beginning when Ahsoka
just like
went
the Battle
to
of Scarif, they figured it out. Like they get it.
Yeah, it's so good. The depth is there. Yeah,
they absolutely crush any ship CGI. Like the ships always look phenomenal. Like,
phenomenal.
So great. So yeah, anytime we get like a huge massive ship shot or even something like the Ghost, anything with a ship like taking off or landing, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is eye candy. It looks so great.
And Chopper looks so good too. Like he looks like obviously he's animated, but like he's realistic. The realism, but also like that's Chopper from the cartoon. Like they didn't do anything different to him. Like he's identical to the cartoon.
Like he got a better paint job.
Yeah,
he's
like higher resolution. That's it. Like he's basically a higher resolution Chopper.
It was one of those things. Yeah, poor chap. One of the things they did that actually kind of was mind-boggling to me is in that opening scene when Sabine is just racing away from the big festival, and she slides underneath the whatever. I'm not sure whatever E-wing. Kind of Z-wing or B-wing, E-wing. So she zips under that thing, and the astromech just turns around and has that puff of steam. And I was like, I can't wait for Chopper.
Yeah,
like, it was such a moment where I'm like, oh, if they're willing to do that, how far will Filoni go? Chopper's going to be amazing.
Even that droid like ducked a little bit, like if you make the random, insert astromech funny, Chopper's gonna be hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Did you go through my stuff?
Yes.
No, I, Hera, General of the New Republic, did not go through your shit.
Did you look under the battery?
Yeah, dude.
And then he's like,
his voice, like his sounds, like I just love his sounds. Like it's so good.
That was really fun, and I've always loved the interaction between droid and whoever the human counterpart is. They just have this bond, and it's just it's always fun to watch, and you can kind of feel their camaraderie or whatever, just the bickering back and forth. It's fun.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get to see the Ghost and not just the Spectre?
Oh yeah,
bro.
We have to, man. The Spectre was just that little tease.
Like, oh yeah.
I mean, we're getting the first two episodes are just the tease. It was kind of like the first episode showed you this by showing you Sabine Wren's armor. By reaching past a box and grabbing something else, you see the helmet half covered in a bag, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. And then they actually pull it out, and then she lays it out,
and it's so colorful.
Exactly, and then she cuts her hair. in this most dramatic fashion.
Yeah.
And then the next time you see her,
with
she's
a
all
knife,
armored
but
up.
it looks like it got done though. Like she just
Oh,
like
right.
chopped up.
She
But
went, she went to the salon afterwards. She's like,
Yeah.
this looks like
Can
garbage.
you clean this up for me, please? I acted
I
rash.
might have been a little rash.
Can we recolor it too? Because I realized my roots were showing before. If we could just
Can I say one thing about
Yeah.
that? So not watching Rebels, which I'm kicking myself for.
Well, blasphemy. Okay.
subtle judgment.
Subtle.
No, it's not subtle. It's
It's hatred. It's pure hatred.
Certified suck.
continue.
Oh, that's a shame.
I kind of don't want to. Anyway, a lot of this show was like a big reveal to me, like Sabine being a Mandalorian. I was like, that's freaking sweet, you know.
That was actually
dude.
one of my favorite moments when I was watching with my wife. Is like she watches Mando and all that stuff, but she's never seen Rebels. But like she pulls out the helmet, she's like, she's a Mandalorian too. I'm like, oh yeah, like
Oh yeah,
she's badass.
So like
one
in
of
the,
like
in the
two
cartoon,
Jedi ever.
Yeah,
and they showed her as a Mandalorian. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Suited.
when she was like fighting with the lightsaber, I'm like, well, you know, she trained with Ahsoka, right? So maybe she's working to be a Jedi. So I didn't know anything about her past or Ahsoka's past, for that matter. So all this stuff was like stirring around in my head, and I'm like getting all excited because she could be a Jedi. But then she gets stabbed. I'm like, oh, well, she's dead. That sucks.
That was a great character for one episode.
Which,
That was fun.
did you guys notice? One thing that I did notice, she gets stabbed through the chest, like right here, right?
left of center.
But then, but when they showed her in the bed, it was like way over here.
Suspend disbelief.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on,
It's
Jeff.
Star Wars.
No,
We have to suspend disbelief.
Well,
But it's
Well,
not
I
as
did-
bad as Kylo Ren's scar, right? I mean,
yeah.
I think the bad one is really Finn getting like sliced up the backside, and like he was just kind of okay, like he had back to suit. Apparently, if you get medical attention really quickly, that's where you're good. Because I've seen like a meme. I don't know if that's what they're going for. It was a little more advanced than the meme, but Qui-Gon gets like ran through by Maul.
Yeah.
That's a run through, but not a lot of medical attention, right? And he just kind of gave
Well,
up.
No,
there.
he
was
just did
nothing
get chucked
there.
down a shaft.
Yeah.
Well, not
Didn't he?
Qui-Gon.
Oh no, he doesn't.
Qui-Gon.
Oh, never mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
Qui-Gon,
Maul
yeah.
got cut in half.
Yeah,
But he
yeah,
still
and then
survived.
he went down the shaft. Yeah, if he can survive with a
I
cauterized
guess
cut in half.
How? No.
But then
No.
we have
How
Grand
do you
Inquisitor.
survive that?
I
Because
know.
it moves along a different story.
Yeah, Grand
Exactly.
Inquisitor got it, but he was fine
Mhm.
in Obi-Wan, and now she got it. She was fine. Like so, like does it cauterize? Does it not cauterize?
Well,
Qui-Gon, why'd you just?
Lightsabers. Here's the theory: lightsabers are no longer fatal weapons.
And they
Or Qui-Gon wanted to finally go the Obi-Wan route, and he was the first one to do it. So he
Yeah.
was cool dying because he's like, I'm good,
Because
but
he knows.
here's still my mortal self versus like, you know, with the way Obi-Wan is like, I've been doing this so long, I'm just going to disappear.
Did
Yeah.
you guys?
Ever since the Qui-Gon days, they're just like, we need to really tone down the lightsaberness of these lightsabers because we can't be having any more Jedi
but
dying. So we're just gonna kind of set sabers to stun.
yeah, the only thing I could think is that like Qui-Gon got like right through the stomach, and because technically they cauterize everything, so you should be okay. The wound's
Just
cauterized.
have like a gaping hole in your stomach.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one to
a mystery.
materialize and justify, but
They
they
don't
make do.
They don't obey the laws of physics, apparently.
Yeah.
Nah,
I
it's like
guess if you're-
Bollywood. Just go
And
with
you
it.
also got to swing it with skill, right, and purpose. So like, I don't know why Ren was just kind of like slicing it loosely up Finn's back. You know what I mean? Instead of just cleanly cutting him in half, like it could do that, Ren. You know, if you just
Oh, yeah.
put a little more effort into it, you could really do some damage. But
Stop being a baby about it and cut.
you
them
didn't
in half.
want to hurt the girl's best friend. I get it.
Because deep down in his heart, he wasn't really all bad.
He's so
Oh,
conflicted.
oh, right.
Yeah.
But this isn't about the sequels.
Yeah.
It's about
So
Ahsoka.
we have all these amazing characters show up already.
Sure.
Obviously, we know Kanan. He's a goner.
Whoa! Spoiler for Dad.
Well, it's his own fault. You can't come talk about the sequel to a series, and we can't talk about the past series.
I'm also kind of disturbed by the fact that he like doesn't know Ahsoka's backstory. I don't know. I don't really want to unpack that, Dad. But like, you've seen Clone Wars, right?
Not the movie, the series. You gotta watch the series.
I mean, I know that she trained with Anakin.
They said that in the show, so I get it.
I mean, no, amazing. I can't even come back to that.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I do remember seeing some things with them together.
I am happy you're here and you're starting this journey, and it is okay to start out of order because Star Wars is designed like that.
Dude, that's okay because I was literally in your position like 2 years ago. And I started watching Rebels, got to a specific episode in the middle of the series, and I was like,
Season 2 finale.
That probably would have been way cooler if I actually knew what was going on. And then Nick's like, yeah, you should probably watch Clone Wars first. I did. And then I was like, oh, wow, yeah, that was way cooler than it was, even though it was still pretty cool, but it was like way cooler.
Like you sense that gravitas that Filoni put into that scene. It has a lot of purpose. If you understood it, it would mean so much more. But I'm glad you still understood that without having any context.
Jeff, there's a really great point that you're going to come to where you're going to start to see this differently. So seeing Sabine Wren walk out with a lightsaber, you know, if you have no idea who she is in the backstory, you're like, okay, she trained for a little bit, like you said, with Ahsoka. But when you watch and see in Rebels who this character is, you're going to go, yo, a Mandalorian with a lightsaber? Let's do this. Like, it gets hardcore. So it's exciting, man. Don't be scared. Be excited about it. There's an adventure to be had. It's
I would say that this show, just these first 2 episodes, has like sparked this thing inside me to like really dive into the Star Wars world.
That's the Force, Jeff. That's the Force.
The animated stuff gets overlooked so much.
Oh, yeah.
Just those 2 series, Clone Wars and Rebels, are like, you know, maybe in my list, like number 2 and number 3, or number 3 and number 4 of like my favorite Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't start that way because the first season of each are slow and kid-like. You know, they're kid shows.
Yeah.
And you're definitely meant to grow with them. So, you know, it nailed all the kids who are now, you know, older adults watching Ahsoka. It's like, oh, this is it. Finally.
Clone Wars exactly aged with a lot of people because it was around for, 6-7 years and there's some gaps there. And then obviously the 7th season took a while. But it starts off for sure like whatever the rating, the Y7, like 7 and up kind of year old, but it ends like PG-13 pretty decently without like dropping their one F-bomb. So it's like definitely a strong PG, but season 7 ain't no joke.
It gets very mature pretty quickly. Both series do. So Kanan, we know his fate, so we can check him off the mural. Sabine's off the mural, Hera, Chopper, and that leaves one more.
Ezra Miller. Oh, I mean, sorry, Bridget.
Ezra Miller.
Casey's like, dang it! Why did I watch this?
Why?
No. So I'm not even talking about Ezra either. That's in my mind. But Ezra, we saw his hologram.
Minor character.
Understand his. Did I say Miller again?
No, I said minor character.
Okay. Yeah. Totally. Just whatever. He's just
throw away.
No.
But Zeb, my boy Zeb. Are we gonna see Zeb in Ahsoka? We already saw his little cameo there in Mandalorian season 3, so like we know he's out there
working for the good guys.
Yeah,
just flying X-wings, drinking. Like he's got it. He's sad Ezra left.
It's just Zeb and stuff.
Yeah,
Zeb and stuff.
like, what do you guys think the odds are that he makes an appearance or, you know, joins the crew? Like, how do they reach out to him? Like, he's still, like, if you remember Rebels, Ezra and Zeb had that, like, brotherly like relationship. They, like, you know, really cared about each other,
71.
but also like kind of fought with each other. But at, you know, down to their cores, they really like were there for each other. So I think if Zeb learns that Ezra may still be alive and Ahsoka may know where he is, I would imagine that Zeb would be like on board, like, all right, let's go find Ezra. Do you guys think Zeb makes an appearance or what?
72% chance.
72, okay. Throwing out numbers. That's a decent percent, I'd say. 72.
I don't know if they're going to get all of Phoenix Squadron back. I don't know if they're going to do it. I'm going to put it right around 70%. I'm Price is Writing you. Because I think there's a chance. I think there's a good chance, but it could be a really fun story if he doesn't. But I mean, because then what if you hold on to him for Mandalorian?
That's
so
true.
If they do a tie-in there somewhere. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And someone could have asked like that question in the writing room, and Filoni's like, "Yeah, that's too on the nose. Like he doesn't need to be here. Like we got this covered." Because
we'll tease him for this
he's
5
like,
seconds in Mandalorian. Just
he's
to
like,
know
that's
that
what they want us to do, but we're not.
Exactly.
We're better than
Ryan
that.
Johnsoning us.
He's gonna outthink us.
Hey Chloe.
Bye.
Yeah, that would be so rude though, to be like, hey guys,
Exactly.
we could totally do it. See, here he is, but we're not gonna do it.
Let's jump to the next thing. In fact, you know what? Let's bring Spirit Wolf in. Let's do that, but not bring Zeb.
We all got the Lothal cats making cameos everywhere.
Dude,
like
the cat,
dude.
So in the writing room, there was a Jeff-like person that was like, "Oh, we need a cute critter," and Filoni's like, "You're fired. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, we already have the cute critter." Just in that they didn't see it. You haven't seen Rebels, so you wouldn't know there's already a cute critter created.
Oh, okay, but I like the cat.
Yeah, you love
the cats are awesome.
They're so much fun, and it's great that you get those. It's like a porg, but cooler.
Yeah.
And can I also say, like, the CGI that was thrown in there was clean and crisp. It looked great.
Yeah,
like they
CGI
actually took their
Lothal looked
time.
fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy with CGI Lothal.
It's like Marvel could learn a lesson.
Learn a couple things.
Yeah, seriously.
A lot of
I really enjoyed that they went back to Lothal with the tower. You know, the fact that Sabine has been there the whole time. Like it was kind of heartbreaking. Beautiful, but tough.
Yeah. Like it was super cool to be there, and even that super long drag that she's like racing down. It was really cool to see all that stuff in live action for sure.
Marvel's just full of yes people. You know what I mean? Like they don't have a Filoni being like, "That's a bad idea," or like that does not look right. Marvel doesn't have anyone like they're always like, yes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
No one's there being like, that CGI doesn't look bad to you guys. No, just me. Okay.
Is it my TV?
Nope.
Just don't look at it. Oh.
Yeah.
Guys, I have a great idea. Let's have She-Hulk twerk in the office. That's a great idea, right?
Would have been amazing if the CGI was like on point, but
would it have been?
Just more gooder. Yeah.
Good.
Look, it was a long night, and there were a lot of long nights. So our blurred vision, we thought it looked great.
I do kind of feel bad for the people that work for Marvel though. Sounds like a real fun time. So yeah, I mean, like, what do you guys think of? We're not going to rehash like every event that happened in these 2 episodes, but like, what do you think of the direction of the story that we're going here with Ahsoka? Like, what do you make of Elsbeth's ties to Thrawn? Like, when do you guys suspect that we may see and find Thrawn? Is that going to be like last couple episodes or sooner than later? Like where do you guys think we're going?
Casey.
All right. Well, I think.
I'm so bad at directing people to talk. I just ask the questions to.
I just don't want to be rude, but I will carry on for the next 30 minutes now. So super excited for the direction of where they're going. I cannot speak highly enough of what they're doing with the pacing, what they're doing for the show as far as the lightsaber fights have been fantastic.
Oh my god.
We have immediately through these, introductions kind of gotten to know everyone, understand a catch up on backstory for people who do know, and an awesome introduction for those who don't. Right. And we're seeing a lot of fantastic new results. There's no way we wait to the end to get Thrawn. I think
there's no way.
It just can't happen. But the way this is already being paced. Yeah, because once they go through the Eye of Sion, which
she basically just had it all set up, ready to go.
Cook it.
Yeah, so we're 2 episodes away from a Thrawn Ezra Bridger thing where we're going to get those guys back in. Then from there, we're going to move forward to obviously Thrawn is going to be preparing for whatever the new fleet is that they've been using to build. Maybe he's been building something in that galaxy. I don't know. Maybe he tamed the space whales. We have no idea, but it's going to be awesome to see. Because
space whale lasers.
You see big freaking lasers on the space whales. But it's going to be great because the fact that we're getting Lars Mikkelsen playing Thrawn, who's just already terrifying as a person. Just as a human face is terrifying. So we get his red eyes and the kiss color, whatever his people are. Chiss. That's it. Sorry. Yes. The Chiss people. I mean, it's just going to be awesome for him. And whatever we get for Ezra Bridger, we don't know what's happened to him. He's been gone. Did he die and become one with the Force? Has he been kind of battling Thrawn this whole time? It's really cool to whatever story they're opening up to. And then potentially we're going to have the big face-off at the end and the Phoenix Squadron will all be united and Zeb will come flying in on an X-Wing and everyone will be happy and you'll get all the things you want.
Speaking of Zeb, so I can't stop going back to Rebels. What was Agent Callus's fate like?
He became a rebel.
Yeah, he's good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's not dead.
Do you think he pops in anywhere?
Get the real Fulcrum in again? That could be fun. I could be down for that. That would be an interesting way to continue on those storylines.
I think what I do like about and this is kind of like an Ahsoka trait because her whole life she's always been like kind of like not a step behind, but like she's always just caught in like the midst of peril. And it's not working out for her. And I forget what I said to you earlier, Mike, just like her character, like it's conflict, loss, and like betrayal, like not a lot of attachments. She is a very good Jedi in the sense that she has no attachments to like anything. She even like purposely walks away from anything and everything.
They nailed it. Yeah, she just flies around in a space shuttle for 15 years.
She's like, this works. It's good. Like it's a ship. Like
fine.
This is home. It's home.
Fine. It's fine.
But they, quickly first episode, like Sabine loses the map, right, and also unlocks it. So like just the whole step of the way, like they're a step ahead of them. This hyperdrive core, like getting dropped in the Eye of Sion, like we're nearly completing a Death Star like mega structure, and
built right under their noses, no less.
And I like that bit too because that also ties back to what they set up in Mando about the whole like all parts of the New Republic are a bunch of Imperial sympathizers, and that pays off because in Mando that was a little displacing a little bit when they did that, and it was like, what are they like? Why? I liked it, but like for a lot of people, it's like, why are we setting up? Watch this, and you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah, we already know about this. And Hera's just so smart. She's like, that whole scene was great. Like, I'm a general. Like, what are you talking about? And that thing is way too big for anything that we're building. Mega sus. Like, things aren't right around here. But I don't anticipate them to stop them. That Eye of Sion thing is going to fire right up. Like, the bad guys are not in a position to lose. And that is also a very strong thread in Star Wars is like we don't have constant like bad guys getting downtrodden all the time. Like sometimes they just have like a great hand and they're just rolling and they don't care.
Sidious.
Yeah.
Sidious smoked the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you
nothing
have
you
to
can do about it. Nothing.
I mean, Thrawn can't lose here because he has a movie coming. So like, yeah. Also, you have to like remember they're trying to set this up to escalate into like a massive, blockbuster movie showdown.
Yeah, which would be great. I mean, very exciting to see. I just hope they give us some sort of wrap up in this, and whether that's probably just going to be against Balin Skull and his Sati. So
that's when Zeb comes back at the end when they do the rally thing. Like we have to stop this, and then move.
Now, is Ahsoka a limited series, or is this
about to ask
a multi-season show here?
The Force tells me it's a 2-seasoner.
Yeah, that's
another
strong.
Andor.
If they do it at this way as 2 seasons, it's going to be the follow-up season after whatever we get with the movie. So there's going to be a difference there. And even if they do a small, miniseries, we're Star Wars fans. We clamor for everything. We're hungry for all of it. Just give me more content.
More power.
Content. Yes, cool.
Now,
cool.
we are Sith and in nature as fans. Like, just give us more.
Yeah, we can never have
enough.
We want
power. Or we're Jedi and Coruscant, just like big temple, more Jedi, collect more children, more content.
Go steal some babies. It's totally fine. We're doing it because we're the good guys. Come on.
Yeah,
we're
totally normal guys.
Yeah, no, your family will never see you again, and you'll have a really weird lifestyle over here with a bunch of crazy religious people. But come on,
it'll look like a cult, but it's fine.
No, I do want to ask though, because like, the Filoniverse and kind of, well, I guess it's really just the series, but I mean, we're talking about a franchise that has, 3 trilogies, a couple solo movies, and now all these series, and obviously. We have the right. Got him.
I wish I had a couple solo movies. They need to make me a second one,
dude. No kidding. Yes. But like we have this big web of story and characters, and they're all interconnected, and kind of like the basis of things of like the MCU does now. But I'm seeing a lot of. Maybe it's just the people we follow on Twitter, but like I'm seeing a lot of complaints like, oh, like this show is pretty cool, except you have to know like Rebels. And like, I'm like, bro, do you not watch the MCU where you have to know like 15 years worth of movie and now shows? Like, yeah, that's the world we live in with these big like cinematic universes. You usually have to watch most of it to understand the things. But with that being said, Jeff, you pointed out earlier that you haven't seen Rebels. How did it feel to you coming into this these first 2 episodes, not really knowing much about these characters? Like, did it feel like you walked into something that was like super established, or did they kind of set stuff up in a way where that didn't really matter to you and you were able to just like enjoy what you were watching and not feel lost?
A little bit of both. I feel like I did walk into something that had been set up. Like, I obviously know that it was Rebels and then this. These characters came from somewhere, had been established, but I was still excited for the surprise, and excited for the show. I was really excited to watch this show. I can't really explain why, but I just was.
It probably had nothing to do with me and Nick constantly talking about how excited we were.
It had a good marketing run.
No, it just looked amazing.
Awesome really lightsaber cool. Fights.
The fact that she dual wields lightsabers, I mean,
and one lightsaber than the other. I love that little detail.
That's actually cool. And I mean, it was really cool seeing that live action in Mando, but like even the way they unveil that in this show is really good. And for people who don't know like anything about Ahsoka, like that's kind of like a Darth Maul-ish like thing where it's like, whoa, too. But like she's got like two one-handers, and it's just a unique combat style.
And we've not seen that. Like, and I was really excited to see that because it was different.
And the other thing is I'm really happy that they are like we already had several lightsaber fights, but also we're geared up to have plenty more because we don't just have two bad guys, we have three technically and a Night Sister. So like we're pretty heavy on the Sith. Like this might be the Acolyte actually. There's so many negative Force wielders in the picture. But we have this. I want to know more about this underling Inquisitor, like Balin.
Merrick.
Like, dude, you're kind of a baller. You have an Inquisitor working for you. Not anyone just gets an Inquisitor. You have to be like Darth Vader and Darth Sidious to have Inquisitors working for you. So like you're doing pretty good for yourself, man.
And it almost feels like the beginning of the Knights of Ren with that Inquisitor.
Oh yeah,
like you can feel that coming out, like potentially moving that way. Like they just have those. Filoni does those fun little drops. It's great.
Is that are you talking about the dude that had the
like face mask thing that they
spinny blade?
The spinny blade. That was was such a cool scene. That fight scene was so freaking cool. And the part where he takes off and he leaves after he threw it, and she's running after him, and the cloud or the smoke, and she comes through the smoke and just stares at them, and then she like steps aside because she just knows it's coming back. It's so freaking cool, man.
I mean, when she stabs the freaking HK droid and she's using it as a shield to get ripped apart, I was like, that's amazing.
She's so untraditional too, and like she moves very differently than what we're used to in terms of like Jedi, which is very fun. But also, once again, like the ship and people, like it doesn't look bad. Like that all looked fine. There was like I could see where you can mess up. Like they're hopping from like, you know, a flat area up to a ship that's moving that's clearly CGI, but all looked correct.
Nailed it.
It looked clean. Yeah. I think another reason why I was excited for this is because it had lightsabers and Jedi and all that fun stuff. I mean,
and they did not withhold.
Are you continuing your blaspheming, but now switching to Andor?
Oh, man.
Wow.
Are you talking crap on Andor? I didn't even pick up on that.
Oh man, yeah, seriously.
I'm not talking crap on Andor. I love that show. I'm just saying that I just love Jedi.
Who doesn't? I mean,
there's
the cool
no
part
Jedi.
is we have enough
technically
in this Star Wars world where everyone now can have everything they want. Do you like bounty hunters? We've got that. Do you like Jedi? Got that in droves. Fan of just what's happening with your everyday spies? Come on over and check this out. It's like, yes, open all the doors. Thank you.
Star Wars is becoming the Walmart of sci-fi right now.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm your greeter. Come on in. Welcome. Happy to have you around.
May the Force be with you.
Are you missing the feel of the Clone Wars of clones and droids? We'll throw a couple of those episodes in there in the Bad Batch for you. Check it out.
Yep. Have we got a show for you?
Yeah.
I also think with Ahsoka, like it seems like it could get a lot bigger. Like it could like scale to really be big. I mean, they're potentially showing a lot of story, or going to be. It just seems like they are able to do a lot with what they have.
And Luke's around. So. Like, what's Luke doing? I want to know what Luke's up to right now. Like,
he's chilling on that one planet with Grogu training him.
Yeah,
I guess so. He's back at the Massassi Temple at this point. It was 10 AB. So he's after the Battle of Yavin 10 years. He's definitely over at the Massassi Temple. So now that he's collected his Jedi, you know, the first couple to bring around.
Yeah, he starts off at teenagers. I feel like he didn't like just pick up like 4-year-olds.
Nah, he didn't jump to that. Nah, he didn't have the clout yet.
Yeah.
So he's much older. Yes.
Yeah.
He's like Luke Prime. Like he's like probably in the waning prime years of Luke Skywalker that no one's gotten to see yet.
Yeah, right. This is about 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So we're in that sort of era.
Well, like this is coinciding with season 3 of Mando, right? Mm-hmm. So we've seen him in season 3 of Mando. So that's our Luke, right?
That's our Luke. That's our guy. Luke. That's our fella.
That's our CGI'd Luke instead of just getting an actor.
He probably won't. And that's the thing I always kind of like. I do tussle with that. That concept of like people do make the complaints like, where are all these Jedi coming from? Like, why do these people not know these people? Like, where was Ahsoka and all this stuff? It's like, well, in some capacity, the galaxy is big enough for there to be plenty of things going on in it, and we not see everything. So I think it's fair. And like Luke knows Ahsoka's there. I think that's nice that he knows that she's obviously there, and he doesn't expect her to play some like super big role in like the grand happenings. Like he kind of knows she's like dealing with this B tier of bad guy content. Like she's kind of like safeguarding things like the Watcher, like in the background, and he's dealing with like the more, I'm funded by the government, I'm approved to come take your adolescent children to train them. In the Republic,
look, I mean, I got my sister's kids, so come on. Yeah, you should. Yeah. That's Princess Leia Organa. Come on, we're good. Let's go.
We're good. We're related. It's good.
It's fine.
Okay. Question.
Okay.
Shoot.
This means Vader's gone, right? Do you think crispy, fried and crispy?
Rip.
Do you think that we'll see any flashbacks with Anakin?
100% yes.
I think he is cast.
He is. I didn't want to like do the whole thing that I did earlier with.
But didn't you do it?
I appreciate the attempt of like framing it as a question instead of being like, guys, Hayden Christensen is on IMDb.
Dude, I was so excited to see that.
Oh, hey, that was a big host point job for you there. That was a nice little point in the like growing as a host job. Good job,
crushed it.
Yeah. So the cool thing about that is this is the way Filoni has set up the idea of flashbacks and even like some weird like other dimensional type stuff. When you see Rebels, you'll appreciate a lot of that.
You think we're gonna get any of that in this?
Yes. That is how they're gonna frame those moments, I think, because I also want to say it's likely that I would say perhaps Thrawn made it to the destination. Ezra might not have made it to the destination. There could be something along that thread to that other galaxy, or like he could be stuck in that limbo, that purgatory type place.
Holocron.
So yeah, like there is very Force magic type stuff that we're probably going to get to see in this already.
Bro, what if Freddie Prinze Jr. makes a cameo as Kanan in the weird limbo thing? Just, bro, throwing it out there. Make it happen.
It could totally work. It could totally work because if he still has the holocrons, and that's what originally showed him with Kanan and how they did a lot of other things that you'll learn, Jeff. Don't worry about it. So if that's plausible, he could be locked in there. And there's a memory of them all, just the way Ahsoka's probably more than likely going to have a few memories or maybe something will inspire her to be reminded of her time with Anakin. And considering we have that in there, there's a chance that the thing could happen. If we already know that there's a past revisit, does that mean we're going to get the Rebels thing, or is it going to just be a memory of a thing? And Jeff, I'm trying to be as obscure as possible because I don't want to ruin any bits of this specifically for you.
So basically what you guys are hinting at is that there's a large story.
Bro, hold on. What if we get that scene from season 2 as a flashback in live action? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Yes. Please do it.
And we can do it because of Ezra's force power. And I'm only going to leave it at that. But you know what I'm saying? We put all that together.
Filoni, when he was doing Rebels and he was like both casting the voice actors and like setting all, he's like, guys, you're gonna want to do this. It's gonna be fucking sweet. Like, just give it like 10 years. It's gonna be awesome. He's
the long haul, man.
He has so much restraint as like just like a creative because he's just like George, right? Like, yeah, give it a good 10 years and this is gonna pay off really well.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are gonna get paychecks in 10 years too. It's like guaranteed income. I promise.
huge. And it's fantastic the way we get all of the characters, all of the Filoni verse. He's subtly and quietly given us all more Star Wars content to love.
Dude, he's like Darth Sidious.
Excited about. Yes. Oh my gosh, he's going on full Sauron, you know?
Yeah.
He's got the one ring that we didn't know about. It was cartoons the whole time.
He's pulling all the he's the puppet master behind it all. He's like, yeah, you make your trilogy real fast. I've been plotting for decades.
He's got so evil with that snakeskin hat.
Yeah. And he's always so happy all the time because he just knows he's winning. Just perpetually.
He didn't know, but he knew.
It's like Sidious during the Clone Wars. He's like, you guys are all idiots. I got it. Like, it's gonna get better. I have a Death Star. I had those bugs make it for me. And he's like, you can't make this up.
Oh my god.
So I guess one last question for me is this the first Night Sister that we've gotten in live action? Was she revealed as a Night Sister in Mando, or is this a new reveal? I don't remember.
New reveal.
Reveal.
She wasn't known as that, although her skill with the way she fights and stuff, you're kind of led that way.
Right.
But
is this the first appearance of a Night Sister in live action
that I can think of? I don't know of another one that's been explicitly stated as a Night Sister. No.
Yeah. Do we go to Dathomir?
God, I hope, but we're not.
No.
Dathomir is my favorite because I just love seeing how messed up that entire society is. But I'm pretty sure at this point that planet has been decimated. So as much as I enjoy watching people be enslaved and then made fun of and then kicked off ledges into lava, which is a hoot. I mean, I don't think
we're gonna make a short out of that one with zero context.
That's all you need.
Well, man, so that is true. Like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Dathomir did get smoked, right? And like Kashyyyk at this point is Kashyyyk still around?
Well, Jolie Bindo, once he was gone, I think Kashyyyk was pretty much done for.
Yeah.
It's still around, but it was not what it was. It was decimated. They cut the forest, I think, at one point right before they left. It was jacked up.
Yeah, I was just starting to think of like planets we can't go back to, like at this point in the timeline. But heavens forbid anyone do anything bad to Tatooine because we have to reuse that scene.
Have to have the sand planet.
Yeah. We had a sand planet in Rogue One. It got blown up. Rip Scarif. Like, it was a decent.
Yeah, but Scarif was like a beach planet too.
It was so nice.
Like, it was lovely. You could just bounce around different times a year. You had different areas to go. You know what Tatooine has? Sand.
And lots of it. And and that was a smart play. Like, whoever was like, yeah, the Imperial Research Data Bank Center, we're gonna put it here because it's safe and no one's there. No, it's a beach, guys. We're gonna just
tropical
chill.
Guys. Yeah, it's great. Come on, come hang out. Yeah, I know it's data records, but you're gonna have a ball. We sip Mai Tais. We found a way to put straws in the helmets. It's awesome.
We're gonna put a shield around the whole thing. Like, there's one way in or out.
Yeah.
So the boss can't just show up unexpectedly. Like, we have to let them in.
Yeah, we'll know like a good 20 minutes before they land. We're fine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I guess, is there anything else we need to go over, Nick?
Dude,
anything you want to cover?
They nailed the Darth Maul reference from when he was scouting Tatooine so well. Like, it wasn't a ripoff. Yes. It was just a lovely. They redid the whole thing, but it was like perfect. It just made a lot of sense too. Like, and this chick gets it. She has a Darth Maul like essence about her too. Except she's probably a little smarter than Darth Maul was at that point in his career, because he was kind of just like, yeah, I'm Sidious's apprentice. I'm gonna go the whole way. But everyone but Darth Vader was in that boat. So
I love that you make it sound like he had his lunchbox and he's like, "This is it.
Yay!
I can't wait for this."
dude, yeah. I mean, in the books though, too, like he was kind of just like he didn't have a lot going on up there. He was just like, yeah, it's evil. Like, let's tear shit up.
Well, I mean, Dathomir, bro. Like his
Yeah.
other option was to become like a Night Sister's thrall or slave, and then all of a sudden, someone just grabbed him and was like, "Ah, you'll work. Hey, why don't you come on?" Once again, as a young one.
Yeah, just got led along.
Yeah, I'm noticing a pattern of grooming in Star Wars. It's kind of concerning.
Yeah, I'd say it's a dangerous thing, but once again, we just kind of skip past that. Suspending disbelief.
Yeah, I mean,
But
hey,
here's
same thing happens in Pokemon. They do the same thing in Pokemon.
Right. And
Way
the
worse.
redeeming qualities is look, cool Pokemon that can fight and stuff. Look, you get a lightsaber and you can move stuff with with your hands. Like it works out.
Yeah, I mean, you could still have a Lothal cat if you want to, and be able to do all the cool things. So it's like a win-win.
Yeah, and now you don't have to be like groomed from like as a 4-year-old. Like you can just like Ezra, you just get to join in the middle of nothing and be like,
Jeff, clip that out of context. Let's go.
Don't have to be just picked up off. Don't have to just be picked up off the street. Yeah, it's some sort of street urchin. Now you can actually be successful before you're a baby.
Yeah.
We've got a whole new system. We're just gonna birth you right into it.
yeah. We're good. We're with the Republic. We work with the Senate. Like
we're the
we're
good
here.
guys.
We're the good guys.
trust us.
You can trust. We're here to help. Your life is going to improve 0 bit because we're actually taking your child, and I don't think we pay you for it.
No, they don't. They just say, "This is the honor and glory of the Jedi. Let us away."
He's the
Like, at no
chosen
point-
one.
At no point, like, no one's ever even alluded to the fact that like they got stipends, even on Coruscant. Like, do you get a stipend from the Republic because your child got scooped by the Jedi? It's more like you should feel good about this. Shouldn't?
Here's a letter, and you can frame this letter, huh? Right?
Huh?
Pretty sweet.
Even
Haven't
if
seen
they
paper
want-
in a while.
Even if they wanted to come back
What
and
is
see
this
you later,
sorcery?
we won't let you.
Right? Yeah. No, because they're definitely never allowed to love you again. I just want you to know your child will have nothing to do with you, and whatever love you feel in your heart, you should learn to bury that.
Yep.
Even if you're kidnapped by Tusken Raiders and tortured to death, still won't make it there in time. You're dead.
Go with
You're
the
dead.
flow.
You're gone.
You're done.
Anyway, but yeah.
So I hate to be that guy, but my phone's about to die, so I have to jump off. But please continue your lovely Star Wars conversation. It was nice being back with you, Casey, and talking and catching up and chatting Star Wars. Jeff, you need to watch Rebels as soon as we get off here. Just don't even sleep. Watch all 4 seasons. Get it done. And Nick, bye.
As always, buddy.
I'm
Mike
Always.
signing off.
This is a pleasure.
Yeah,
I love
we'll see you guys.
Love sharing the screen with you, my friend. Thank you.
So I came across a clip of, because we were talking about him earlier, Darth Maul and Ahsoka facing off in Clone Wars. It's so cool. The lightsaber fight.
Are they like on scaffolding, like high up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to watch at least that season.
Yeah.
Maybe
What
you
is
should
that,
just
season
watch
11?
everything in backwards order. Like just reverse watch it. Like go watch
Yes.
Rebels. Should you start with 1 through 4?
No,
Should go
4,
4,
3, 2, 1. Just go completely backwards. Tell us what that experience is like. That would be incredible. It's like Memento. What a great movie.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I love that movie so much.
And it all makes sense, and it was good. I think you'll have a swell time.
But the swelling will go down.
Yes.
Hopefully, if it's longer than 4 hours, go see a doctor.
Please, a medical professional.
Medical
Anyone.
professional.
Phlebotomist would work.
Yeah. No, I've really now the only thing I do have to say that I thought was a little extra was they did harp really heavy on like, yes, Ahsoka and Sabine are difficult together.
Yeah,
like we get it. Like that was a very repetitive thing. I'm like, okay, we have enough dialogue about this. we got it. Especially if you've watched, like Jeff, you got it. Like you haven't even seen it. You get what's going on.
It was a little bit extra. I understood it, but they were just trying to drive that point home for some reason. I'm like, maybe if I would have watched said cartoon, I would understand that yes, they were challenging.
I think that was based because if you haven't watched the cartoon, it was important to make sure you were very well aware of this important point. And it does make sense because once again, we're getting that Anakin and Ahsoka parallel. So, Filoni and his parallels, and, things in Star Wars get repeated frequently.
Yeah.
So it is just kind of their MO. But it was a great opportunity to get more of David Tennant as Huon, the Jedi droid, who I do love. So that was probably the only real part we needed. The Harrison Dola being motherly, although it really informs on her character as well. It did get to be a little long in the tooth. I'm like, Hera is so much more than this. Can we please go see her do something? Let's see her be a pilot. And then we got her see her be a pilot. And it was
which
awesome.
was really cool. I will say that I understood the challenging part from what's her name? The Mando chick.
Sabine.
When she was running away, when she should have been at the
ship.
No, in the beginning when she was supposed to get
at the ceremony.
When she was running away on the speedster. Like, okay, so this chick is rebellious and she does what she wants, even though she's the hero. I kind of picked up on that pretty quick. Like, okay, so Sabine was with Ahsoka, but she's not with Ahsoka in the beginning, so there's obviously something going on there. I put it together eventually, but then they decided to really drive it into my skull. Yeah,
a lot.
But like, even it wasn't like torturous for me.
No, it wasn't enough to be off-putting. I think they did. It was just one of those deals where you have to go, okay, we get it.
I understand.
And then they move past it.
Yeah,
just had to repeat it a lot. But you're right. That is probably the weakest part of the entirety of it, though. Sure. I mean, out of everything else we got some awesome action. We got some phenomenal lightsaber fights. We got some wicked piloting. We got some humor. I mean, who doesn't love getting Chopper? That was amazing.
That was fun.
Opening crawl's back.
Oh, yep. Yes. Opening crawl. Come on.
It was so very flat, though. It wasn't angled. So, like, threw me off. It was just like a flat down, which reminded me of something else that I've watched recently. What had that? I don't remember. It was a rewatch of an older movie.
Evil Dead?
No. I'll think of it. But I just noticed that I was like, what is different? Like, this isn't the normal crawl, but it's very like text down the screen. So, but that was cool. And
yeah, it was kind of weird.
Solid Easter eggs all throughout, and a lot of it was just in your face. They didn't hide a whole lot of things. They weren't like trying to be sneaky, like, oh, let's see if you're a real fan. It's just Filoni going, here it is. It's right in your face. Yep. Go nuts, enjoy.
The end credit sequence, fantastic.
Beautiful.
Love the type font they have going on here with the Ahsoka and like all the text, but also just like we're running. I see them as threads. Like they are threads connecting all these different dimensions and plot points and stuff. And it tells a lot about his art style. It's like almost like a visual of like what's going on in his brain. And then they kind of come to a point and explode into like a bunch more points. Like it was so good, and it looks good too. It was like really clean.
Very radical how it kind of ties into the map that they've been chasing too. So it's still keeping in that same sort of holocron, like ancient Jedi stuff we've seen with the art that always exists back then. And it's just beautiful that Filoni all the way through has thought this out in its entirety. And you can feel that care, that all the love that was put into this and how much fun we're going to have throughout the entirety of this.
Even like not knowing what you guys know, I still sense that same care. Yeah. I can like it just stands apart from a lot of the other shows, and especially some of the newer movies. It just hits different, like it feels like what we've been missing for a long time.
Yeah, and I guess the leg up it has is like it's kind of like a season 5 of Rebels. Whereas like Mando, it had to get its footing, right? Like that's a brand new story they were telling right from the jump. Obviously, very well executed, and that's why it like landed across the board. And like Book of Boba Fett, it had ties back to obviously a ton of stuff, but in terms of like story, still very brand new and needed to get its feet under itself. And I don't know if it ever really did that, but it just told like a nice little story.
Did a decent story. I always struggle with the quality of that, though.
Yeah,
there was something that kind of just was lacking, and from Robert Rodriguez, it made me sad because I was like, bro, you can't go back and shoot the same guys and show that same shot back and forth after you've blown them up 9 times, and then go right back to the same shot of it. I'm like, this is so lazy. What happened?
Yep.
Like, but so that was a little upsetting. I think that one deserved more. The story is good though, and couple Mando bonus episodes, pretty amazing.
Yep.
Pretty great. Bryce Dallas Howard crushing it as usual.
She never drops the ball, even when you're like, oh my goodness, she about to drop the ball, like in the Jack Black episode. Like, but she just basically like pulls off this really weird like. I'm glad she did that episode because otherwise it would have been too much.
And you know what it reminded me of? It was the bad episodes of Clone Wars for me were usually the boring ones, which usually involved the Senate and all the intrigue we'd go through. So I was like, okay, they're tossing a bone to the people who love that part of it.
Yeah,
cool, and they did a good job because Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yep. Yeah, exploring weird tones of like droid slavery and like all that kind of stuff, like just weird, that weird stuff that Clone Wars would do, and that was the fun of it. But this show very much like very cemented in like. Everything feels like it's important and like it exists for a reason because it does. It does very, very much so.
Yeah. So which means we're going to get a lot of these episodes where I think we're going to get a lot to chew on, so some of the other series that went 30 minutes that hurt. I hated that. I despise it when it goes that short. It just sucks because I just want more. But with this series, I don't think we're going to have any filler. There's not going to be anything that's questionable. This is going to be the full-on story that we want to see that's going to wrap up what Rebels was.
Yeah, I mean, because it's very likely that this third episode is 8 minutes long because they're going to fire the Eye of Sion up and like that's going to be it. Like they're not going to have a lot of like jumping around to do. Like they just have a really quick thing to do in this episode 3, and that I feel like that might be the case, and 38 minutes will feel just fine. Because then they're gonna like drop the mic, and then like you gotta wait a week for season 8 or episode 4. Is it 8 episodes? Do we know?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 8.
Okay.
Which is good. I feel good about it.
8's fine. It's not 6.
Fine.
It's not 10 though.
Right.
We don't do 10 anymore. Well, unless you're Andor, you do 12.
I love 10. 10 was great. Let's get back to 10. I think 10 should happen more frequently.
10 feels better than 8. Yeah.
Agreed.
10 is so whole. Big whole number there. It's all the numbers too.
Right?
But a couple extra.
Yeah.
But also I was thinking, Filoni has finally done this thing where I don't know if it's really established, but the additional galaxies out there, we got like a multi-galaxy map where it wasn't just this other galaxy, there was other galaxies. And I also like that because we get to explore ancient civilizations from a long time ago, blah blah blah. But also there's nothing stopping now the galaxy far, far away from being in our timeline, our universe, our present existence, because we do know it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So, for all we know, this other galaxy is like it's like year 3,238 Earth years, right? Could be. Not that they're going to do that, but, we don't have to pretend like Star Wars isn't not real.
It's still part of our universe.
It's still in it.
Like it's still in that universe. So we could be 4 galaxies over and just be like, oh man, just hop, skip, and a jump.
Yep. George Lucas just had that. He had the Eye of Sion. Like he built the little.
He knew
the little site. Maybe that's what Stonehenge is. I don't know.
Could be. Boom.
That's the fun thing.
Mind blown.
That's the fun thing.
It was when the continents were all one, and they had Stonehenge and the Mayan pyramids right there, so they worked in conjunction, unison. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I did see a map recently where like everything on like the Atlantic seaboards, like those are all shared mountain ranges from like Scotland to the Appalachians down to like Morocco and all that jazz.
It's
All the
wild.
same mountain
Yeah.
chain.
The way you see when it all folds up together. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's neat.
But yeah, I mean, that's why I like that stuff, because that stuff's a little longer to like explore here on Earth. Like we can't really play too much with that kind of stuff, but in Star Wars you get to think about it all day. And it's very much that like Prometheus type concept where it's like this other, or like Mass Effect. Like I just love that type of stuff. And I love that whether it's Jedi Fallen Order, right? We get into that like Promethean type stuff. This is very
Knights of the Old Republic, when we wind up actually going back to the Masasi people who, how did they exist? We have these temples. Who were they? And we get all the way back into that. So there could be some connection there with these galaxies and what we see. So it's exciting. It's exciting that we open it up to this.
Yeah, because what did Darth Sidious want to prevent? Those like that race of anti-droid organic life forms. That the reason the Death Star was made was so they could originally nuke planets that they infested, because they what were they? But they weren't. They were just known to be from like the unknown regions.
Right. That's what everything was called back then. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it was like maybe suggested that they're from a different galaxy or something. But yeah. It's a little bit of that too. Yeah.
Because they also do that. They had some of that plane of existence exchange too.
Yeah.
So it had a little bit of that going on. It's a very weird galaxy out there. That's why we, generally just roll the windows up and just drive through.
We just lock the doors.
Yeah.
Roll them up. And then the Chiss are just ultimately super interesting group of people. Just kind of roam the galaxy in the unknown regions, except for Thrawn. He was like, I don't want this small town life. I want to go out there in the galaxy and do something with myself. I don't know.
I want to see what's out there for me.
Yeah,
I got to make my way.
Oh no, it's gonna be a musical. Episode 6 will be a musical bit by Mickelson.
I'm in. Let's go. I want Jerry Goldsmith to, get the production on it. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, what are you up to?
Get in here. Filoni. Now, that was the other fun thing was Filoni's not shy. We got those credits and it's like created by, written by. And what's the third one? Directed. Is it created, written, and directed? I'm like, you get it, Filoni. And then they drop some text and then it's like, oh, executive producers, Filoni and Favreau. There you go.
Surprise. And then I am excited that they did the foray. I think that was really pretty.
Yeah.
It was really nice that they did that. So,
yeah. I was unaware, I guess.
So
I think I somehow glazed over the fact that he died. So I guess
it was not really big in the news. Like it was a blip. Like it barely hit anything for the day it happened. I think it was only 2 weeks ago. So pretty recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder maybe they suppressed it because it was too close to the release, and I don't know.
They were like, well, we can't let everyone know this guy's dead.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
Oh
gosh, no one will want to go see the show now. They know what happens already.
Yeah, so I mean, does that mean he's not going to be in like season 2, or if there's maybe there's no season 2 and there wasn't a big deal. No big
Yeah,
deal.
exactly. They'll just claim like they would in a contract dispute that his character drove off a cliff or something weird. I don't know. Was killed by his evil twin who may or may not come back.
Oh no, does his apprentice betray him and like join the witch lady ultimately? Who knows?
Ooh, but we'll find out in our next riveting episode.
She's been reading like the actual Sith like lore. She's like, "Oh, Rule of 2, this is interesting."
Neat.
You know I'm supposed to kill
Marco
you?
Ragnos, huh? He seemed fascinating.
Why are you a Jedi again? And the lightsaber bit from the droid, that was so cool. He was like, that was so cool.
I love that. I absolutely love that part to get that little bit of Balin Skull. So now you learn about him, you start to inform his character, and there's nothing better than lightsabers. And the fact that you have someone who's inspecting these lightsabers and that whole, oh, this
Teaching
design
them
is different,
yeah.
right? And having the fact that it's got that hilt guard, which was something Kanan had, you know, so they even did a throwback there. And I was like, oh, Filoni.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, this droid used to work at the temple with the younglings, and he's been around for like 500 years, and he's got a long protocol life. It's only 75% original parts, which is not bad.
Yeah, pretty solid, especially for, you know, someone who's Doctor Who.
Yeah. Of lightsabers. It was so, yeah. There's a lot of little bits in there, and Ahsoka's character where she's just like, she is still, I think she is a very, like, Rosario Dawson does such a good job. I think she's not snippy, but she is. She's like jaded snippy, and I think that's so appropriate for old Ahsoka too. Because even in that scene, she's like, "Can we get to like the point here? Like, I don't care about your history." Like, she's like, I'm going to ignore you said that, and I'm going to continue to explain this in detail as I'm programmed to explain to you.
Which is exactly what he does, and it's great because you get that Ahsoka who's not mean, but she's also not nice. And it's very clearly stated that this character is she's been through some stuff and she doesn't have time for your shit. She just doesn't have time for it. She's got to power through and get her stuff done, doesn't care. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love that she's just like a nomad. She just goes where she's needed. And that's such a fun MO to have as a character. She just kind of gets the float. And it makes sense for her past, right? Like, she has that tie to Darth Vader, and like her world collapsed and went away at that point. She's just kind of like a shell, like a skilled. Not that she's soulless, but like she does not have a lot of like empathy or something in there. Like she's missing a whole.
She was imprinted with Anakin, you know, the same way he was imprinted with her. That's a part of who she is. And the fact that he could turn to the absolute darkness and become something that would wipe everyone out. She lives with the massive regret of not having seen it and been able to deal with it. And also maybe when she walked away, maybe she was the cause of it in some way. Maybe she could have helped him. Like she struggles with that her whole life. You know, it's almost like this point that we found her, she finally found peace just being alone. And being away from it all. So
you just like chasing threads of things, preventing things, helping. That's kind of what she does, but never stands in the light.
Nope,
but
never stays with
Jedi?
It. There we are. There's the question. Yes.
We've talked about dark Jedi. We know about real Jedi. Is she a gray Jedi? What is she?
So I always compare that to Jolie Bindo, who's my favorite Knights of the Old Republic character and probably my favorite Jedi, because you're just a grumpy guy who believes in the balance. Yeah. And you can tell that she definitely believes in not the balance. She picks a side.
Yeah.
Kind of against the Jedi, the general stance, but also against the darkness.
Very much against the darkness.
So in a way, yes, she's a Jedi who doesn't follow the Jedi Order. So we have two non-Jedi who are, you know, these masters left in whatever the society and post-Jedi world is, because we have no true Sith remaining and no true Jedi remaining. Yeah. You know, we have Luke Skywalker is the most Jedi, and he's being instructed by ghosts. He wasn't actually trained at the temple. He's not a true Jedi.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fascinating to see how they've done that and how everything is kind of grown and what we're going to see in the next round. And Ahsoka's she's the most non-Jedi Jedi ever.
Yep, non-Jedi, Jedi ever. But it's and Mike was alluding to this because he was asking me earlier this week. He's like, "What's with the whole like Sabine like Jedi thing?" I'm like, think of Jedi as more of like a way of learning, right? Because and Sabine's not force sensitive, and I'm happy they said that in episode 2, I think, where she's talking with the droid, and like she's not force sensitive, and like because he's like, you probably like are the lowest of force sensitivity I've seen. Like you're not even up there very high.
You literally have one tiny skill set, and it's art.
Or she's a Mandalorian, and like Mandalorians are known to be proficient at all weapon types, and also Mandalorians in the past have wielded the Darksaber, and there was a Jedi Mandalorian, but he was actually Force sensitive, I do believe.
Yeah, Mandalore
that young lad,
himself,
yeah,
OG Mandalore.
OG Mandalore. So it's not beyond a Mandalorian to learn the art, craft, weapon skill set of a lightsaber. So yeah, don't need to be Force sensitive, and I think it's very appropriate that Ahsoka would take a non-Force sensitive apprentice, because, like you said, that's a very Jedi thing to take an apprentice, but it's not Force sensitive. So screw you guys, dirtbags.
Always finding a workaround, loophole.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was always more of like an organic, like, we work together, so you're basically my apprentice. It's like there's no like official I will become XYZ. It's more like, hey, you know what? I'll teach you some things, and more of a natural master apprentice kind of thing. So
yeah, and it's nice that you see that, because that also happens earlier in the same series when you have the Kanan and Ezra thing.
Yeah.
When Ezra's full on like, I want to be a Padawan, and Kanan's like, I will train you, and it's like that because Kanan was Jedi. He was from that. He had a master. We see that in Bad Batch, so we get to actually understand who they were. So it's pretty rad. I like how they did that, progressing both storylines in the way they did.
Yeah, and like you said, it's that breakdown of how things were to like how things are, and it's a very different landscape. And then we have these dark Jedi out there being little mercenaries, being bad, trying to consume power. I mean, they're not like Darth Nihilus or anything, but
Gosh, I'm really hoping I get somewhere in this world a Darth Nihilus reference. I just need that. The mask, anything.
anything. I think they're gonna, like, while they're traveling on like Scion or whatever, he's just gonna be floating out in the neutral space between the galaxies, just like that dude's so creepy.
Oh, I got nightmares from that dude. He was terrifying. Ugh.
And he's never even been like live action anything.
No,
Mostly
him and
his
Darth
fan art.
Sion were just brutal.
Yeah,
I mean, they were scary. But hopefully we'll see Revan. There's a chance, because Ezra is related to Revan, so we could get something there.
I've read some stuff about Revan. Yeah, dude, he's. Whew.
Let's get Keanu up here.
Yes, exactly. That's who I want to play Revan. Let's get Johnny Silverhand in as Revan.
Yeah, and I'm so mad that scene was cut from Clone Wars for Anakin during the whole, man, what was that planet? That weirdo place?
The one with the two brothers, where he learned that we're the not Jedi, not Sith, like kind of
the brother, the sister, and the father, kind of like the Holy
that's
Trinity, like reference
right.
there of the Force. You'd like that arc in Clone Wars, Dad. Very cool.
Yeah, Dad,
they get kind of metaphysical about the Force and stuff. It's pretty. They kind of like Obi-Wan and Anakin and Ahsoka go on like a little bit of a trip. Like,
no, legit. Actually, it is like a trip.
Yeah,
it's go to somewhere different.
Yeah, and but in there they had like Revan, and I think they had a bunch of the Sith Lords in there that Anakin got to talk to, but they cut that.
Was it Marco Ragnos? I think was in there too. I think they had
Bane,
that's
Revan.
Right, Darth Bane.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. My favorites were always like Naga Sadow, who started the entire order of the Sith, was dope. Marco Ragnos, the Rule of Two, was wonderful, and especially Ula Keldroma, the Redeemed. He's amazing.
Yeah.
So lots of good lore out there, and I'm happy Filoni is bringing it all back into official canon.
Because he's read it, nerd.
Yeah. Yeah. That guy.
What?
Don't mind me. Woo.
Yeah, he's great. But no, I'm real pleased with what I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, overall, I think this Ahsoka is going to be amazing. I think we have a lot of great show ahead of us, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. And I'm really excited to be here and being able to do this with y'all. Thanks, guys, for having me. This is fantastic.
I appreciate you coming on,
man.
It's awesome.
Always easy time having you around. Plenty to talk about when it's Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it all day. You just let me know when we're ready for episode 3. We'll just keep rolling.
Yeah, we wanted to do a campaign series, but we didn't. I don't think we had the energy organization to bring that together in time, because it really crept up. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, it's August and it's 23rd already. And then they moved it up a day.
Yeah, that whole day really messed me up. I mean, they had such a good marketing, everything was set in one direction, and I was like, okay. I mean, sure, I only learned about this show coming out like 3 weeks ago, but it was on Wednesday, and then they moved it to Tuesday, and it was mind-bogglingly fast.
Yeah, then there's 2 at the same time, because like Mike was like, "Hey, FYI, guys, we have an hour and a half of Ahsoka to watch." I'm like, "Dang, that's like a whole movie. Like that's episode 1, and then we're gonna basically it's 8 episodes. I think that just shakes out to be a trilogy at this point. When you're making an 8-episode series, like you might as well drop a trilogy on us.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Cool. Well, until next time. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you, Casey, for popping on. Thank you, Mike, for popping on in your unfortunate situation. Hope you get all your repairs made. Spectrum sucks. Not a sponsor.
Boo, Spectrum.
Boo. Dad, you got anything to add?
I'm just excited, man. Star Wars all day.
We're excited for you to work it backwards now that we came up with that plan.
Now this has to happen, by the way.
I don't know if I can do that.
Don't you quit on us, Dad.
Okay.
There's only do, there is no try. Just do it. Work backwards.
You might need to remind me, because I'll probably forget.
No, okay. Casey, you got anything going on? Anything crazy? Just living your best life?
Living my best life, my good sir. I just, I work, I play hard, and I hang out with my kid, and that's pretty much my life. It's a pretty good life, and hopefully maybe find something to do to start preoccupying myself rather than work eventually. But in the meantime, we have Star Wars to talk about, so I'm always more than happy to come on.
Awesome. Works for
pew,
us.
Pew.
Yeah. Pew, pew, pew. Well, until next week, everyone, have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us for this Star Wars filled episode. I don't think we talk about it enough. We'll get some more Star Wars episodes in here. But until next time, we are Audi 5000 once I find the clip. It's Babushka Dad.
I just want to be a Jedi.
I know, Dad. It's okay.
Why can't
You're
I
too
be
old,
Jedi?
kid.
You're too
Too
old. I was
Not this one.
As a kid, I never understood that line I was like, what do you mean he's too old? I'm so confused.
Right?
He's older than me.
Yeah, exactly.
What is happening?